Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. How are you this morning? Yes, it is Monday morning, November 13th, 2023. My name is Blakely. I am going to be your host today, but I'm also the co-creator, one of the co-creators of Pre-Pro. We are thrilled to have you here today. Today, we are going to be going over quick concepts. Sometimes you're not working on an entire giant production or corporate event, and you just need to get some ideas out quickly. You just need a stage with people, not even a theater stage, just a simple floor space with people. Get some ideas out for some things that may be coming up. So we're going to go over how quickly and easily it is to start seeing like high fidelity 3D renderings in an instant. At least it seems that way. But we're going to go over multi-selecting of performers and multi-recording. Yes, multi-path recording. Super, super excited to have you here with us today. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and move over to my iPad screen. And so you can see here, if you haven't opened Pre-Pro yet, once you tap the Pre-Pro icon there in your home screen, this should be the first screen that you see on your iPad. Now, if you're opening this for the first time today, you may not see these other folders here, but that's okay. Those are just other projects that I've created and have been working on. So we'll go over those in a second. Now, if you're joining us and you have not downloaded Pre-Pro yet, I'm going to go ahead and throw our QR code up here that will take you to the App Store. So there it is there. You can go ahead and take a look at it there. That should take you to the App Store. Go ahead and get it downloaded. It's a fairly quick download, and then you can go ahead and get caught up with us. I'll leave that there for a second while we start working. So here in Pre-Pro, this is our home screen. Now, if you're opening this for the first time, you're going to see the Universal Library, the Project Library, and the ability to create a new project. Now, the Universal Library is your catch-all folder in Pre-Pro for all the different variety of media that you can put into the app. If you put it into the Universal Library directly, it'll be available for all of your other projects to use. If you input a specific piece of media into a certain project folder, it will always bring it back to the Universal Library as well, so that if you want to use it in another project you've already created or have yet to create, you can do that. If you have more than the 4 projects here on the home screen, you can click the project library and it will list the rest of the project folders that you have within Pre-Pro. Great. We're going to go ahead and jump into a folder for a project that I have already created. But if you wanted to create a new project, you could just go ahead and click Create New Project and give it a title, and then you would have this project folder here. And when you open this project folder, you'll notice these icons from the Universal Library here up top. You're going to see all of these icons across the app, so you'll get to know them well. You have the ability to put in venues, which would be different types of theater models or stage models. Assets, any type of scenic element that you might want, whether it's built into Pre-Pro or custom. You can do that here as well. Videos, which we haven't covered yet, but we will get to. Images, any sort of image you want to apply to a performer, something like that, you can put right into here. Scripts, let's say you have a PDF breakdown of what the shot list is going to be, or maybe dialogue that you're interested in seeing from your host for this particular situation. Then you can always put these PDFs in here. We do have a PDF editor in Pre-Pro for you to take notes while you're working. Any audio, think voiceover track, music track, perhaps a song for a musical number if you're working on a musical, things like that. And flooring, yes. So you can put either a ground plan of your floor into the app and it will display that for you, or if you're making a more high fidelity model, you want it to be a bit more fit and finished, I guess I should say, like a wood floor. If the set designer has sent you what they're going to paint the deck like with a certain pattern, something like that, you can import that image so you can actually see what your show deck's going to look like with your other scenic elements. It's really cool. So you can see here I have two performance files. Now, if you come into your project folder for the first time, these will not be here. So within each overarching project folder, you have performance files. So if you're working on a theater piece or let's see, like musical theater, like a show, you would break down each scene and musical number into a different performance file. That way you can hop back and forth between all of them versus keeping them in one super giant file. It's just easier to break them down that way. If you're working on a corporate event, you might have different setups across your event. If it's a different ballroom for different segments of the event, or you have different artists with different setups, whether it's a band into a comedian or something like that, you would use those individual performance files to see those unique setups for those artists. But today we're going to go ahead and start with creating a new performance. So we're going to click Create New Performance, and it's going to give me an option here of all of the preset venues built into PrePro for you to use. Now, if you had put in custom venues into this specific project already, they would be listed here for you to select as well. But today we're going with only the built-in assets in PrePro, and we're going to try and get out some quick ideas. And the quickest way to get out ideas is to click this blank stage, right here, blank stage. We're going to click that, and we're going to click Select or tap Select with your finger or Apple Pencil. And it's going to ask us to name it. And I'm just going to call it Quick Concepts. And tap OK. And now you can see that we are here in the main play space screen of PrePro. We have a 2D view of our blank stage here, and we have our PrePro palette here to the left, which is all of our tools needed to make this something spectacular. We also have our play bar down here at the bottom, which we will get to when we start working with the recording feature. So now you can see here we have this blank stage, and moving forward from here, just to let you know, if once you have the app open and if you are caught up with me, you will, moving forward, need the unlocked version of PrePro. Yes, we have a 14-day free trial, 14 days completely free to use of PrePro. So you can access the 3D screen, you can access unlimited performers. It's a ton of content in there for you to get into. But moving forward, you will need to unlock the free trial first. So I'll show you how to do that, and then we will continue. So down here, you'll see our settings and help button. Now, in PrePro, there are 3 ways of navigating the app. You can single tap or single click on things like you're used to doing. You can double tap for more options. And you can long press or long click on a specific performer, asset, or in this case, the help button to initiate the recording mode or to initiate the tool screen. And the tool screen is there in case you're a new user, or sometimes you just forget how to access each tool and what each icon is. Although I will say we tried to keep a lot of the iconography across the app the same, so you'll start to build an awareness of what those symbols probably deal with when you go to tap on certain buttons. But you can see we have a ton of tools here and different reminders, supported file types, things like that. But we're going to go ahead and single tap now on this settings icon, and we're going to go to the in-app purchase here so we can unlock this free trial. So right here in the little store icon, we tap that, and you're going to see PrePro 3D. We do have a launch sale happening right now, so go ahead and check that out. But right down here is where you're going to start this free trial. You can always cancel at the 14 days if you would like, but we think after today and definitely after 14 days, you're going to let the subscription ride because it is pretty Awesome. So go ahead and unlock that in order to continue along with us today. Otherwise, if you want, you can still practice some of these ideas. You'll just only be able to have two performers in the 2D view. No 3D in the free variant. So, quick ideas. I've got my stage. Now what do I need? I need performers. I just need to get some people onto the stage. So on here in the palette, we have our performer icon. We're going to tap that, and you can see that our performer library is empty. I think I'm going to need 12 performers today. So luckily, you can just tap this plus button here in the upper right corner of the performer library 12 times to make these performers. And you can see when I scroll here that I have 12 performers ready to go. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to click or tap and drag them in. Just tap and hold and drag in, just like that. Now, if I was being more particular about needing to know who is what, giving them different colors, things like that, which we will get to. Otherwise, you can just put all of these performers out here in this this teal color that we've chosen. It's just a default color. You can certainly choose any other color that you're interested in, which we will get to. But now I have all 12 of these performers on stage. And I'm going to click this 3D button right here. Remember, you need the unlocked version, but we're just going to go ahead and keep an eye on what all of these people look like. So to zoom in like that, I'm going to use pinch to zoom on the 3D camera, just like you're used to doing. You can use one finger or click and hold to rotate around the stage. And then if you use two fingers together at the same time, it's going to strafe the camera, or essentially like sort of dolly the camera back and forth and up and down on the same plane, right? So the orbit is going to move us around the model. Pinch to zoom is moving the camera in closer to the model. And then the two fingers is going to move the camera up, down, side to side along the same plane. So I've got this view here. It's the split view. I can adjust this split view if I want over here on the side or anywhere on this bar here separating the views. Just like that. And you can see it doesn't affect our picture at all. I can get zoomed in there, and it allows me to zoom in here on the lower half, which I like to do usually 2/3 2D, 1/3 3D as I start to work, since all of the interaction is going to be done in the 2D screen in Pre-Pro. It's much easier to go ahead and work with a 2D version and get it instantly in 3D than it is to start trying to manipulate things in 3D space. So the 3D window will be a view-only window, but it's really cool. You can move around while the performance is playing. It's awesome. You'll see shortly. But now, let's get back into it. We have quick concepts to make. So, I'm here in the 2D screen. I'm going to zoom out a little, and you can see I have all of my performers. Now, you're going to tap a performer to select it, and you can either tap it again to unselect it, or you can tap out of it onto the stage to deselect them, just like that. So, tap to select the performer, tap them again to deselect them. Or if once you've selected them, you can just always tap the stage to deselect. And you'll see why there's a difference here in literally 1 second. So we have an awesome feature built into Pre-Pro called multi-select. And that is exactly as it sounds. It allows you to select multiple performers and assets together at the same time. So we're going to try these 3 performers here. And you can see just like that, I've selected all of them. Now when I go to tap and move them anywhere, they're going to move together just like that. You can see there in 3D, it's live updating as I move it. just like that. So now tapping to unselect a single performer still allows me to keep the multi-select of these two performers. If I were to tap the stage, it would get rid of all of them. So I'm going to select them again, and now I'll tap the stage, and all of them are deselected. So there's two different ways depending on what you're working with to deselect performers and assets. So I've got a group of 3 over here. I'm going to go ahead and just make these same groupings here. I think I'm going to do 4 groups of 3, just like that. And you can see how easy this is just for me to continue to tap these, move them, just like that. And I'm going to bring these 3 friends over here, like that, for now. Great. Tap the stage to deselect them. And then you can see just like that, I've got this really nice formation here of performers in nice groupings that I'm starting to get an idea. Do I like what this stage picture is starting to look like? I don't know. Do I? Do we? I don't know. They're kind of hard to see, though, at least to determine each different group. But I've decided I like the people in the back to stay teal, but I think I want these 2 front groups to be a variation of pink. So what we can do is if you double tap, remember you can double tap for more options. If you double tap on a performer, you'll notice you get a rotation icon, a Z-axis icon, which allows you to raise and lower the performer into the air, or this little head icon here, and that is the performer profile. And that's going to let us adjust everything about this particular performer, including their height. Think about that. So if you have children at your event or in your production, and for sightlines, you need a shorter performer, go ahead and type in their height, and it will shorten the performer. So we're going to go ahead and pick a color here. So you can see I just tap this color icon just like that, and I get a color selector. So I'm going to choose a color here on the spectrum. Looks good. Something like that. And then in here, I can choose any variation of this color. So I'm going to go not super bright. I think that looks okay. I like that. I'm going to add it to my favorites. So it's down here for me to select again, and you'll see why. And now instantly, you can see here in the 3D version and down here in 2D that my performer has turned to the selected color instantly. So we're going to go ahead and move through this group now. So I'm going to double tap on this performer, click here, tap the color, tap the pink I chose, and come out. That performer is now pink. Great. There's my favorite right there. I'm going to tap it, tap back, and tap into the stage. Just be sure you tap back into the performer menu from the color selector. Otherwise, it's not going to save that color, and you're going to come back to your play space and wonder, why didn't the color change? That would be why. So we're going to go ahead and just do these 3 quickly here, just so you can start to see. Once you know where you're going, that you can make a lot of changes very quickly. And there we have our 4 groups. Looking awesome. So now I'm not sure about this particular formation. And I don't mind that there's still different colors, because I think what I want to see is a line. So I'm going to go ahead and move these over here. It doesn't need to be a perfect line. I just need to get quick ideas. And I think, because I think the pink maybe will, let's say they'll be our singers. And the blue, I don't know, dancers for now? We'll just call them our blue and pink performers. So there we go. So there's another image. Really quickly, I'm like, do I like this? Is this something interesting? Now, if I had a particular venue, maybe, Like let's say today we were going through quick concepts, but I'll show you just how easy it is. We can go down here to our venue button, just like that. Tap that, and you're going to see a button down here that says venue swap. Now, if you're doing a tour or production like that, you may be switching venues and you may have to readjust what these stage pictures look like. So in our case, I just needed a blank stage just to see people in space. But if I wanted it to seem a little more real, you could go to a venue swap, put in a custom venue, or you could select one of the built-in assets. So if I selected medium proscenium, am I sure? Yes. And now you can see that I have this formation that needs to be centered, but it's in a theater. And I can start to see, is this what I want? How does this look? Would this be a compelling stage picture for my audience? And I think that looks kind of interesting for a little finale moment. Maybe the performers will process down when we record. I'll have the singer line come down towards the end, maybe. I think that's cool. I'm actually going to go ahead and just take a screen capture on my iPad because I think this is kind of an interesting formation that I might want to explore later. Here we go. It'll also remind me to come back to it. So now we will jump back to our blank stage. I know it was kind of a tease with the theater set there, but today we're just going to focus on moving people around and getting quick ideas, yeah? Fantastic. So I'm going to zoom in here, and let's see what other interesting shape we can create. I also thought it would be kind of interesting to try something. Like, what if we did a larger pyramid with our pink friends? And then maybe, I don't know, you think the blue performers, or teal performers, excuse me, off to the side. I'm going to multi-select these friends here, just like that, to get them out of the way. Actually, I might have moved them into a decent position. There we go. Let's move them out here. And not bad. Looks pretty good. And now what's really cool is you can orbit around the back. So you can see it from the performer perspective if you want. You can zoom right in there, get as close as you want. You can put yourself in the action while it's playing. But we'll start with this. I think this looks good. But now, I think we're ready to start recording. I'll take another screenshot of that because that's an interesting picture that I may want to remind myself of. So now let's start with recording. Yes, so what makes pre-pro so amazing is that you can actually draw the paths that you want performers and assets to travel along, right? You're not stuck to a grid. You are allowed to freehand draw exactly where you need your performers and assets to go. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. And we're going to start like this, I think. That's what I want to do. We're going to line up these three friends. We actually need to spread them out a bit more. More like our friends up there on the left. That looks about right. So we'll go ahead and multi-select these, remember, just by selecting and moving them together. And then go ahead and tap the stage to deselect them, just like that. Great. Bring these performers over here. And now we are going to start to record. So this is this palette's going to be in my way for the next little bit, and since I'm only using this group of performers, I don't need the palette to be here anymore. So the Pre-Pro P up here at the top, this button will open and close the palette for you. Super easy, just like that. So when it's in the way, go ahead and close it. You can always get access to it again and close it again. Now, we talked about the play bar just a little bit ago. It's down here at the bottom. You'll see the controls you're used to seeing for a play bar. Play, rewind. This play button will turn into a pause stop button. And fast forward, you'll also see an undo button. So if you move someone where you don't want to move them, you position them in a spot before you record, and you don't like that position, you can always tap undo to undo that move. But this button right here is going to open the timeline. And when I tap it, you will see what appears to be like any other sort of timeline interface you're used to working with in any sort of other digital music application or video editing application. The same concepts are going to apply to Pre-Pro. We've just applied it to path animation as well, which you will see. So now remember here in Pre-Pro, when we're working in the 2D screen, that you can tap to select things and deselect things. You can double tap to get more options. And then you can do the select and then long hold. And that will start the recording mode. That will enter you into recording mode. So I'm going to start with a multi-recording. Yes, we're going to go big for our first recording. But let me tell you, it's not going big. It's going easy. It is so easy to get moving quickly. So we're going to select all 3 of our pink performers here. And when I long press, it can be on any of these performers, but since this is going to be my leader here on this right side, I'm going to long press and release. And you'll notice that our Pre-Pro P here in the left-hand side is starting to glow red. Yes, it's blinking red, like a recording light on a camera. Ah, see what we did there? So now you are in recording mode. And at this time, the next time you move the performers, it's going to start to draw lines for all 3 of them. And it's going to start to record that traffic path until you release, and it will stop. So you can either use your finger, your mouse, or your Apple Pencil. Now, I think it's easier to navigate Pre-Pro with my finger most of the time until I start to draw traffic patterns. And then I like to use my pencil. So I'm going to start now, and once I start to record, you're going to notice here at the bottom that our selected performers, that the playhead will start to move and record the path node of what I'm drawing. And you can see we stopped just shy of 10 seconds. And what's cool is you saw the pink line, so every time you draw a line, it will show the path that you drew when you select this node here in the bottom in the timeline. You can tap it to deselect it. So if you want to see where this particular performer is traveling in that moment, you can always tap that path node to see where they're going. But we don't care about that today. We're trying to get quick ideas going. So let's go ahead here and multi-select these 3 performers. Remember, I'm going to long hold once I've selected, and that our P now, once I release, is glowing red in the top left, and we're ready to record. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my playhead back here, and I'm going to record. And just like that, we now have a group of performers, 6 performers already, coming in together into stage from stage left and stage right, perfectly animated. Now I'm going to go ahead and just click rewind so you can watch it rewind there. But you can see, if we weren't taking time to explain things and talk through things together today, I could have done that very, very quickly. We'll get our next two groups in here, and I'll just go ahead and do them at what would be a fairly normal working pace once you're comfortable with pre-pro, so you can start to see how quickly we can start to get some ideas together. Also, you'll notice everything plays back when you record it. That's the other amazing thing about pre-pro, right? Perfect Path, our real-time path drawing system that we developed, allows everything to play back in real time. So every time you're drawing, you are adding another layer of specificity to this particular performance or concept. And the more layers you add, obviously, the more spectacular it gets. But sometimes it doesn't need to be more spectacular than what we're working with today. Bodies in space, right? Sometimes it does. And if it does need to be, pre-pro will be there for you. But now we're going to go back. We're going to go ahead and work with these performers here in this little triangle here on this side. And I've selected all of them. I'm ready to record. So I'm going to long hold here on this performer in the front. I'm glowing red, and I am ready to record. Great. There's that path. I'm going to rewind. Perfect. And now I'm going to zoom out here a little bit on my 2D screen there just to get my friends back in view. I'm going to select them. I'm going to long press and hold again on this lower performer. I've instigated my recording light over here by long pressing, and I'm going to go and record. Just like that. And now if I just tap back here in the time, I'll jump back, and we can see what this looks like. I got happy fingers there for a second. But already we've got an entrance of a large group of people coming into the play space. Now, if you had music that you wanted to use, which I'm certain you might have an idea of the music you wanted to use, you'll go into your pre-pro palette here in the media folder icon, and if you had a song, which we do right here, you would click and drag it onto the song name area. The song will appear here, and then every time you go to draw a path, the music will play back as well. So it allows you to time everything perfectly. That's why we call it Perfect Path, because it should be every single time. And if it's not, you can always double tap on the path to get more options, and then delete the path and re-record it. It's so easy. So now we have this opening formation here. I'm just going to give myself a little more workspace. And so now we talked about the idea of wanting them to process downward, right? One of the things we looked at before we started was I was thinking I want that pink line to come further downstage and move my dancers outstage. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with these three here. I'm going to long press on the performer who's furthest downstage. I've got my recording light, and I'm coming down and out. Just like that. And we're going to go back. I'll select these three performers here. Going to long press again to instigate the recording mode. And I'm going to attempt to mirror this. just like that. And now I'm going to jump back, and I'm going to select all 3 of the pink performers here in the back. And I'm going to use this performer, I think, as the one that I start to draw on. Now, you can use any performer to start the recording mode, but that doesn't mean you're stuck drawing on that performer. You can go ahead and start to draw your line on any of the performers that are involved in the multi-select. I just think this performer here in the center will help me keep the entire line more accurately centered between the 2 teal formations that are moving out stage. And we're going to start recording. Just like that. And now if I jump back, you will see just like that. It was amazing. Done. All right, now I want to do a wraparound where I want this the 2 teal clumps to move around and come back down. And then I think, yeah, I want the pink line to split and follow them back around into their spots, I think. Alrighty. So we're going to get moving through this quickly. I'm going to leave the playhead where it's at because that was perfectly timed. I've selected my performers. I'm going to long press here. I've instigated recording mode. And I'm going to make a big swooping motion here. To there. Just like that. Now I'm going to jump back. I'm going to select my performers here. Long press. Recording. Great. So there's those. Now when I jump back, you'll notice that they jump back as well so that you can start accurately every time. So now I'm going to do individual recordings for the line of performers here. So I'm going to select this person. I'm going to long press on this performer. So the recording has started, and I'm going to follow them around. Great. I think I liked that. Did I like that? I don't know. Let's see. We can decide, though. I don't think I liked it, so I can just double tap on the path node, which is right here, for this particular performer. And I know that because if I select them, it selects them here on the stage and vice versa. So it's nice. You don't have to go finding them in your timeline. You can always open the timeline by clicking the window header here and expanding it. But what's really nice is once I tap the performer, it's automatically going to bring them to the forefront for you. And I don't think I like that path that I just made because I don't want to do that extra curly Q. Unless we like it. Should I just keep it? All right, we'll keep it. All right, so let's go ahead and do our second performer. We're going to long press. And here we go. Great. We'll jump back. Tap this performer, long press, recording, and here we go. Great. We'll jump back. We'll start with this side now. But you can see how in 10 minutes here, by the time I collectively finish all of this effort, which is negligible, because if I wasn't talking with you, I might be on my couch. Yeah, having a beverage, not at 10:30 in the morning, unless you like to live wildly. But I could be easily doing this with coffee on my couch right now. Starting the day off, instead of some morning pages, these are morning musings of staging ideas. And remember today, we're not going for perfection, right? This isn't going to any valuable sort of stakeholder, right? This is just for us. This is just a journal at this point, a journal of movement and of creativity and ideas, things that could be, right? We don't have the gig yet, but we always thought this formation might look interesting. So let's see. Just like that. I don't know. I think that could be interesting. Now, let's go ahead and close this timeline. Just like that. And let's look at this in 3D only. So we're going to open our pre-pro palette here on the left-hand side. I'm going to long hold on this again just so we can take a look at where our tools are again before we leave each other today. Remember, long press, and you will be able to see every tool available to you. And we're looking for the 3D view icon, which is 3 up from the settings and help. And it's a cube and says 3D. So it should be fairly easy to find for you. So when I tap it once, it's going to restore my 2D only view, just like that. If you double tap the 3D icon, it'll give you a complete 3D view. It will completely remove the 2D. If you tap it again, 2D, tap it once, split view, double tap, will get you full 3D. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like. At least the last half of this. Do I like the traveling around? I'm going to close the palette there. It's not great, but I could see how if I was really good about drawing that arc so that the match and the circles, once I get into a rehearsal room, I think that could be a good idea. But let's watch the entire thing. So I'm just going to go back here, just swiping back in my timeline, and just get this playhead here back to the beginning. Yes, this view looks very good. And let's play it, and let's see. And remember, we can move while it's playing. I mean, that first half is pretty good. This would be great, maybe. What if I, like, for a Pops concert, maybe? Just have a blank stage, but, like, the full orchestra is on the stage as well behind the performers. There's really no room for scenery, so you kind of have to just move people in interesting ways. Our lighting designer will help with that, too, I'm sure. That looks really great. Now, what does it look like if I was sitting in an orchestra seat here, since that's probably how people will see it. So we'll probably be a little down like this, even with the stage, or maybe below it. But let's just see what that gets us here. Knowing that you can move the view around, it's really hard to not move around while it's playing. But it's so helpful to see sightline restrictions before you get into the space. And spend valuable time, but also valuable money if you have a crew and cast on the clock. Some of that last minute moving needs to be trimmed up. But again, this is not for a presentation for producers or anything like that. That is just for me to see, could this idea work when finessed? And I think the answer is absolutely yes. And you can see in 10 minutes I have 12 people moving around. Didn't have to get a studio. I didn't have to do anything. I'm in the comfort of my own home, couch, airplane, in a terminal waiting to go to a different job that you need to start working on the next one. It could be anywhere, since Pre-Pro doesn't require an internet connection to work. So you don't have to worry about anything like that. It will work on device anywhere you are, on your iPad or Mac. And it's pretty incredible when you have all of these 3D models in the palms of your hands and they are moving around just as you recorded them. It's a pretty awesome thing to hold. It's fun on a computer, but when you have it on an iPad and you're in space or not in space and you're working with things that seem so tangibly real, there's just no way. Going back to static drawing of formations or using coins on your table, it just is never going to be the same. And we think it is awesome. Again, to unlock the free trial of Pre-Pro, you want to go ahead down here to your settings and help icon. And when you tap on that, it's going to take you, you'll see some other options here. Be sure to check out our website. Tons of content and information on our website, pre-pro.io. You'll see it here at the end of the stream, so don't worry about writing that down. But the website has tons of great content, as well as feature videos, ways to reach out to us. Sign up for our newsletter. We have tons of things brewing. So in order to stay up to date with that, go ahead and subscribe to our newsletter there on our website. But we're going to focus right here on the in-app purchase store link. And here is the free trial access right here. 14 days completely free. We are sure that you will love it after 14 days. This is just the bare minimum of what you can accomplish with Pre-Pro. I know you have seen us work with more advanced tools and features in previous videos, but if this is your first time joining us, we are just barely scratching the surface of the level of fidelity and specificity that you can achieve with Pre-Pro, all in the palm of your hands with an iPad or a Mac. Thanks for joining us this week. It has been my pleasure to share this creative experience with you today. My name is Blakely. I'm one of the co-creators of Pre-Pro. Again, you can find us at pre-pro.io. That is our website. We are also at Pre-Pro app on all social platforms. And at the very end, I'll also throw a QR code up again for you as well. We look forward to seeing you next Monday for some more exciting creations. Take care.